Hey everyone, in this video we are going to dive into some baseball analytics using R and the legendary Lahman database. We will be exploring how hits and doubles contribute to scoring runs that you can see on the right hand side of the R table here. You can see the variables related to this database. And let's start by adding our title here. Lahman Data Analysis. Okay, so the library for this data is Lahman Data, and if you don't have it, please first install the package and then you can move to loading your data. So if you want to see this head page here, you can just add question mark and name of the package we are using. This is not loading any function, it's actually loading your data set. So here are some explanations about Lahman's baseball database, and you can see that there are different types of tables in this data. And for today, we will use betting statistics. And when you click, you will see several descriptions, formats of the data, variables, and some examples. So this R is going to be our response variable, which is runs. And in addition to Lahman library, we will use some more libraries like dplyr, and also we are going to use for NLME, which is used, this package is used for mixed models. And as we all know that this scoring is important, and it's scoring runs is the ultimate goal, and then using that variable as response variable can be meaningful or relevant for your analysis. And let's filter first our data set, because when you just check for your betting table, you will see some variables, and the important thing is that we have player ID for each year, and you are seeing all these variables which are defined in your head page. So let's assume that instead of going by player layer, we want to go by team ID for this part. And we will aggregate and filter our data set for some variables. Let's start with giving a name to our new data set. Betting years, for example, but this is just optional. You can call it anything if you want. You can even call it pizza. So let's start with the table of betting, and we are adding, we are piping this data set, and I want to filter it for some specific years. Year ID is the one which is including year information. And if year is greater than 2000, and also if that year ID is, let's say, smaller than 2024, I want to use this part. So I pipe it again, and this is pipe sign in dplyr package. And I also want to group by this data. Let's group by it for year ID. I don't want to lose my year information. And remember, we will be using team instead of player. And I also want to get the league ID in here. League ID. Sorry. Okay, let's pipe it. And let's summarize. We have to summarize it because remember, variables are given by each player, and now we want to just find them for each team. So for R, let's sum your R, and if there's any NA value, I want to remove them because we will be using linear model, and then it's sometimes better before starting, or you can even remove some of your NA values while you are doing your analysis part. But for this example, I want to remove them from the beginning. So don't forget to add comma in here and in here. And let's say we will use H as an exploratory variable. These are hits, and also you can choose some of the variables that I see that for these doubles, there are some linear increase with that variable with R, which you can assume from the data. And I want to get that x2 and b variable, again NA remove, true, and then we will use groups equals drop. This option in the summarize function is important because when we add this argument, dplyr removes the grouping information from our summary table, and it is turning into a regular data frame. And we want to use a regular data frame for modeling part. And let's say what we will be do next. So let's first run this code. You can check our global environment is empty, but when I run it, and it's going to give me a okie dokie, maybe I didn't run libraries. Okay, I got an error there. Here we go. Please remember what we do first when we see a data set. Generally in R, I'm using hat command to see the first 6 lines of my data. And now I have year variable for each team, and they are repeated for each team actually from 2000 to 2023, leak IDs, entry of my variables. And with these variables, we will build a simple linear model to see how hits and doubles predicts our runs. And for this AM, in R, we are using LM function. This is used for linear model. And runs is our response variable. Hits and doubles are predictors, or you can call them as explanatory variables. And here is the syntax. We have R, and we add tilde H plus x2b. Sorry, x2b, and our data is betting years. Here is my linear model, and it's giving me the intercept. And if when I just first call it, these are the very summary of my model. And if I want to see more details about my model, I can just use summary, as I'm using to see the summary of the data set. And sorry, I need to run this one. Of course, I need to write my model into an object. Here we go. And my model is, the name of my model is model. And if you just run it, you can see that this is your call of your model, and you can see your residuals, how they are changing. And we have the intercept, and we have all these parameter estimations for our variables. And you can see they are statistically significant, and this is our square values in our summary table.